Don't be fooled by the cracks in the facade. This rundown building has real potential and real history. It was here that Althea Gibson triumphed in the 1957 U.S. Tennis Open, making her the first African-American woman to win the championship. Then, Arthur Ashe made history in this arena when he became the first male to break the sport's color barrier with his Open victory in 1968. This also used to be one of the premier concert venues in the country. The Beatles played here, as did Frank Sinatra, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan.
Just because it hasn't been used doesn't wipe away its historic and architectural significance, and I see it as a diamond in the rough that needs polishing.
That's what Michael Perlman, president of the Rego Forest Preservation Council, says about the long vacant Forest Hills Tennis Stadium. The Westside Tennis Club, which owns the famed stadium, put out a call for proposed uses to help ease the group's serious financial troubles. Last month, they nearly sold the stadium to Cordmeyer Development Company for demolition. But Perlman has a plan that would protect the stadium from demolition and possibly get the stadium's dormant box office back open for business. He wants the city to landmark the stadium.
Since a landmark site has much more prestige, and many more cultural and civic groups and state and city agencies usually come forward and grant funding.
He sees this as an opportunity, not just for the Westside Tennis Club, but also for the whole community.
It would help push us through hard economic times. For instance, it would help create jobs and boost businesses along the Austin Street and Queen Boulevard corridors.
Still, some local residents are wary of reopening a 14,000-seat stadium in an already crowded neighborhood.
It was, when they had the games, it was very crowded. There was a lot of traffic and there was a lot of noise because people were going to the stadium.
Because of its renowned history, though, some local residents already view the stadium as a landmark and want to see it preserved out of nostalgia.
Well, it's a landmark. I remember they used to have great concerts there. Sure, I'd be sorry to hear it, to see it torn down.
Perlman knows that history as well as anyone. He collects it. He owns dozens of stadium souvenirs, such as a poster for a Beatles concert at the stadium in 1964.
You name some type of memorabilia, and I'm interested in acquiring it, as long as it pertains to the tennis stadium.
His appreciation for the stadium's unique history is why Perlman wants to protect the stadium, but its future rests solely in the hands of the Westside Tennis Club. The club set a November 15th deadline for the new proposals for the stadium's future. The club's president, Kenneth Parker, said in a statement that several groups have expressed interest in buying the stadium, but none have given a detailed proposal yet for the stadium's future. Meanwhile, Cordmeyer Development says that their offer is still on the table for $10 million to bulldoze the stadium for new condos. But to some in the community, replacing the stadium with standard condos sounds like betraying local history for profit.
I think that there are other things more important than money. And I think that, if anything, they could sell it not to make more condos. Maybe they could do something else with it, because it is just sitting there.
Landmarking the stadium might save it from the wrecking ball in the future, but the city has never landmarked a sports venue before. Activists tried to save the old Yankees Stadium from destruction by lobbying for landmark status. Efforts to save the original Madison Square Garden, Ebbets Field, and Shea Stadium were all unsuccessful as well.
I feel the Forest Hills Tennis Stadium has a greater chance of being designated a city individual landmark on the basis that it is intact and has taken on many uses over the course of its long-term reign.
But the longer the stadium stands vacant, the more its history fades, and the more likely that it meets the same fate as these other iconic New York sports venues. This is Jonathan Kamhai reporting from Forest Hills for the New York City News Service.